I was about 7, and I was in recess. We were able to bring some toys in to play during recess when I was 7 years old. And these 2 friends who lived on my street took my doll and beat the crap out of it. And that made me so sad, because this doll, it wasn't a Cabbage Patch, it wasn't a Barbie, it wasn't what my friends had. But when you bent it over, it would cry, it would go, wah. But it only went, oh. I had a lot of sad days, both at school and at home. That was about the same time that I escaped a lot into television. And my dad, being daddy's little girl, and really the only daughter, so he had 2 older sons, my brothers, needed a way to relate to me. So he put me in sports, and I played softball. And it's baseball season. I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos of these kids, their first softball or baseball game, and there's, somebody there at first base trying to make sure they don't run left or run right or go the wrong way or just keep running out to the outfield. A lot of funny moments trying to teach a young kid how to play softball. And I remember feeling like that distance to first base was just so long. Even though they moved the bases in, it just seemed so long. But then you practice and you drill and you get into better shape, and that distance shortens. And you learn that you have to turn left at first base, or you have to just keep going. And where you can stop and where you can keep running, and really the point was obviously to bring it on home, or bring your teammates on home. I continued to play sports, and it continued to be something that my dad and I could relate to. I don't know if I could have called myself an athlete. I didn't take it that seriously, but it was something that got me away from the television. It kept me engaged. And when my dad was always there, we had some rough times, obviously. My parents got divorced. It was ugly, it wasn't pretty, but I knew he loved me because he was always there. And in 9th grade, he was forced into early retirement, which made me happy because I would be so excited to come home and have a catch with him. And he would walk in the door like this. And I was like, you look like I feel. And he would say, you only wish you had your problems. You don't want these problems. I go to work and it's real problems. And that sounded awful to me. Having a job sounded incredibly bad. So when he was forced into early retirement when I was in 9th grade, I was like, this is great, He's gonna be around. But then I'm in 9th grade and I'm realizing he's always around. He's always around. He's always coming to my practices, he's always coming to my games. When you're in 9th grade, that starts to be not such a great thing in a lot of ways. But it was still that thing that kept us together, because that's the age when you start to feel like, I need some freedom, I need to test some boundaries, I need to find out who I am. I could also see that my coaches in softball weren't always so happy about his presence either. He definitely felt free to insert himself to say when I should be playing, when I shouldn't be playing. And in 9th grade, I also started to work. And I had a lot of different jobs in high school and onward. But softball was still something that was important to me. And at the same time, I didn't work that hard at it. I did the drills with the team, that distance to first base, even as you graduate fields and they get a little bit bigger, it seemed to get shorter. I ran, I learned how to bat, I got a little bit better. But when I got into my senior year and I was a varsity player, the stakes were much higher. I didn't get a lot of playing time in the beginning of the season. And my dad was very vocal about that. And I didn't feel like I was that much of a contributor to the team either, because I didn't go to these camps like my teammates. We had a couple stars on our team. They were freshmen. And it was almost like the team needs to perform because these freshmen have an opportunity here to get scholarships, even though they're years away. So the better we are as a team, the better their future could be. That was heavy. I almost didn't want to play. It was like a lot of pressure. Thankfully, the center fielder hurt her ankle. And there were other people he could have pulled in, so that was one time when I was glad that my dad said, Karen needs to play. And again, I had done all the drills. I knew how to bat, but when it came to the pressure of a game, I might drop a ball, I might throw it in the wrong place, I might strike out. That was my record in a game. Practice, I could do much better. But the more that I played, the more I started to realize that there is a game, a level of the game that I was totally neglecting, and it was right here. So I would sit out in center field, and instead of thinking about anything else but the game, I would be thinking, you're gonna hit that ball, you're gonna hit it right to me, it's gonna go in my glove, I'm gonna throw it there, she's gonna get out, and we're up to bat. And that was my game. That was my head game. I started to just be in it. My fielding improved. Being up at bat. I would look at that pitcher, I would give her the dirtiest look ever, and I would say, you're gonna hit it right in my sweet spot, and it's gonna go over that shortstop's head, and she's coming home, and she's coming home. And my batting got better. And they actually unanimously voted me as MIP. And that was a revelation to me. I had to be in the game to get my head game straight. For 10 years, I have been a career coach. I've been helping corporate professionals learn how to identify that next level of fulfillment in their career and pursue it. And I can teach them the pragmatic steps, the activities that they need to do. I can teach them how to do a lot more in a lot less time with a lot less effort. But they also have to be right up here. So, I have to address the mind game. Now, 70%, nearly 70% of American workers are disengaged in their job. They're checked out of the game. They could be on the bleachers, part of the team, letting somebody else call and make the plays. They could be in the bleachers. I need more people in the game. Thank you.